Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through, well, tons of articles, research, our own notes, really, to bring you the core insights. Our mission today, giving you a real shortcut to being well informed about a really pervasive and, frankly, insidious cyber threat. Spoofing scams. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And in this deep dive, we're going to clarify what spoofing actually is. We'll explore its many cunning forms, look at how attackers actually execute these scams,
Yeah.
some pretty sophisticated ways, and we'll get into some significant real-world examples too. But I think most importantly, we want to equip you with practical strategies for protection.
Yeah, definitely the protection part.
Because if we connect this to the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
Understanding these tactics isn't just like useful information, it's absolutely essential for navigating our increasingly digital world safely.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning, the foundation. For those of us who hear the term spoofing but maybe aren't totally sure what it means, what exactly is it in the cybersecurity world?
Right. So at its core, spoofing in cybersecurity is basically the act of impersonating a trusted entity. Now, this could be a person, it could be a company, could even be, say, a government agency.
Okay.
The main goal is always deception, tricking systems or networks or individuals like you and me into believing a source of information is legitimate when, well, it's not.
Right, to exploit trust.
Exactly. To exploit that perceived trust. And the aim, usually manipulating victims into taking actions that compromise their security, maybe gain unauthorized access, disrupt things, or even launch further attacks.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, our sources, they seem to highlight this sort of fluid line between spoofing and phishing. They often get used together. Can you maybe clarify that distinction for us? What's the relationship there, really?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it is easy to get them confused. Maybe think of it this way. Spoofing is the method of deception. It's about faking the information itself, like an email address, maybe a website URL, or a caller ID.
The disguise?
Kind of, yeah. Whereas phishing is the specific tactic that uses that spoofing. Phishing is always malicious, right? It's designed to steal your information. So, while, yeah, lots of phishing attacks definitely involve spoofing, not all spoofing is actually phishing.
Oh.
It's maybe like the difference between, I don't know, wearing a disguise and actually committing a robbery. The disguise is the spoofing. The robbery itself is the phishing.
Got it.
Or a more technical analogy, think about the Internet's domain name system, DNS. It's like a giant phone book, right? It translates a friendly name, like www.example.com, into an IP address. You know, like 2.22.144.68. That's the website's actual location.
Okay.
Spoofing, in that context, would be like altering that phone book entry to send you to the wrong address. But phishing is the act of sending you to that wrong address with the specific intent to, well, rob you once you get there.
Right. So it really hinges on the malicious intent behind the deception, which brings up an interesting legal point. If spoofing is just presenting false info, is it illegal just on its own, or only when it's used, maliciously?
That's where it gets a bit nuanced, like you said. Spoofing itself.
Yeah.
Just the act of presenting false information without harmful intent.
Well, it isn't necessarily illegal in its initial stages, but, and this is key, depending on the specific laws and the jurisdiction, the legal framework of a country or region, certain types of spoofing become illegal very quickly the moment they're used with malicious intent.
Like for fraud.
Exactly. Fraud, stealing data, disrupting services, stuff like that. The intent and the resulting harm, or even potential harm, that's really the deciding factor legally.
Okay, so if we boil this down, spoofing scams fundamentally exploit our trust, often using pretty clever social engineering. And they can pop up across almost any digital channel, email, phone, text, websites. It's all about creating that illusion of legitimacy.
Precisely. It's leveraging our, natural tendency to trust things that look familiar or official. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The sheer number of ways they do this, it's honestly a bit unsettling. It just makes you wonder, how many different ways can someone actually spoof you these days? Can you break down the common types?
You're absolutely right. This sort of rogues gallery of deception is surprisingly wide. And it's constantly evolving. Let's walk through the main ones you're likely to run into. First, probably the most common, is email spoofing. This is the one most often tied to phishing. Scammers send emails that look like they're from a legit source, your bank, a shop you use, maybe even a coworker. Warning signs. Look for slightly altered sender addresses, maybe support@yourbank-secure.com instead of just support@yourbank.com. Or urgent requests demanding immediate action, obvious spelling mistakes, or really generic greetings like, dear customer instead of your actual name.
Right. Those generic greetings are always a flag.
Definitely. Then you've got caller ID spoofing, also called phone spoofing or vishing, voice phishing. Here, the scammer messes with your caller ID so it looks like they're calling from your bank or maybe a government agency, even someone you know.
How do they do that?
They often use voice over IP, VoIP technology. And these calls, they almost always create this intense sense of urgency. They'll say things like, there's no time to waste, you could lose everything, or your account is at risk, give us your password now. Really aggressive stuff.
Yeah, pressure tactics.
Exactly. Then there's text message spoofing, or smishing SMS phishing. Fraudulent texts appearing to be from a trusted source, often claiming suspicious activity on your account or containing fake links to dodgy websites. Or they might ask for personal info or those verification codes you get.
Yeah, the verification code requests are bad.
Very bad. Next is website spoofing, sometimes called URL spoofing, creating fake websites that look almost exactly like real ones.
Yeah.
They often use URLs that are just slightly different. Maybe pengcommunitybank.com instead of pengcommunitybank.com. One-letter difference.
Easy to miss if you're not careful.
Very easy. And the goal is to trick you into entering your login details, bank info, you name it. Then there's a newer, more worrying one, facial spoofing. Here, a scammer uses a photo or maybe even a video of your face to try and fool facial recognition systems.
Wow. To unlock accounts.
Exactly. To unlock accounts or devices that use your face as the key. We also have IP spoofing. This is more technical. It involves replacing the source IP address in network packets with a fake one. Makes it look like the communication is coming from a trusted computer or server. Often used in DDoS attacks, distributed denial of service, flooding a target with traffic,
Okay.
and GPS spoofing, tricking a GPS receiver into thinking it's somewhere. It's not by broadcasting fake satellite signals. This can be used to hack a car's navigation or even interfere with ships or aircraft, making them think they're off course.
That sounds serious.
It can be, yeah. Finally, there's deepfake spoofing. This is relatively new but incredibly dangerous. Using AI to create fake images, videos, or audio clips that look and sound incredibly real. Imagine, like a deepfake video of a celebrity telling you to click a link or invest in something.
Yeah.
They leverage that perceived authenticity.
It's just astounding how sophisticated this has all become. From
Yeah.
just, tweaking a URL slyly to completely faking someone's face or voice. What really strikes me is not just the number of ways they can attack, but how they're targeting every single point of digital interaction. Email, phone, websites, GPS, even our biometrics. It feels like no channel is safe, which makes building a defense feel really complex. Okay, so we know what spoofing is, and we've seen the sheer variety of types, but how do these scammers actually do it? How do they pull these off? What are their common techniques and strategies?
Yeah, it really boils down to two main things. Falsifying information, obviously, but also heavily relying on social engineering tactics. They're not just hacking systems. Often they're hacking human psychology. Exploiting our vulnerabilities, fear, greed, maybe just a lack of technical understanding. They know which buttons to push.
Right, the human element.
Exactly. So one primary technique is the impersonation of trusted entities. We touched on this. Fake caller IDs, mimicking company phone numbers using official-looking logos. Remember that example from 2019? Scammers used spoofed Apple logos and phone numbers in automated calls. Or more recently, 2024, that smishing scam, hitting Texas DOT customers with fake toll invoices. Looked totally real. They also love creating urgency or fear. Once they've got that fake identity set up, they pressure you, act quickly, claiming your account's compromised or you owe money, or you need to verify your identity right now. Spoofed emails threatening account lockout unless you click their link immediately. It's all designed to bypass your rational thinking, make you react impulsively.
Makes sense. Panic first, think later.
Precisely. Scammers also frequently use fake contact information or malicious links. Emails or texts might include a phone number that looks legit but isn't, or links that go to fraudulent sites. Think about those fake package notifications. Your FedEx UPS Amazon package has a problem, click here. Those links can steal credentials or drop malware.
Yeah, those are everywhere.
They really are. Exploiting social engineering techniques is also huge. Impersonating colleagues, friends, family, like in business, email compromise or BEC scams. An email looks like it's from the CEO asking for an urgent wire transfer. Relies on you trusting authority or familiar contacts.
Right.
Sometimes they use malware or phishing kits. These automate the data stealing. Embedded in links or attachments. You click, malware gets installed, maybe loves your keystrokes, steals passwords. A lot of smishing attacks work like this, downloading malware right onto your phone. They also put an effort into maintaining the illusion of legitimacy. professional-looking graphics, logos, mimicking the language of the real company. But often there are subtle clues if you look closely. Spelling mistakes, odd grammar, those generic greetings, slight variations in the email address or URL we talked about. Those are your giveaways.
You have to be vigilant.
You really do. And if the first try doesn't work, they often follow up or escalate the scam, sending more messages, amping up the urgency, maybe even calling you directly pretending to be customer service or law enforcement to double down on the scam.
Persistent.
Very. And once they get your data, it's all about exploiting the victim's data, opening credit accounts, making purchases, selling your info on the dark web, or full identity theft.
Right, the end game.
And afterwards, they try covering their tracks, deleting logs if they can, changing phone numbers, using disposable emails to avoid being caught. And finally, a really key aspect is their ability to adapt to new security measures. Security gets better, so they evolve. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, is a good example. Scammers adapted with tactics like SIM swapping, taking over your phone number to intercept those MFA codes. They're always finding workarounds.
Wow, that's quite the playbook. It really sounds like while the tech and the specific scams change, the core vulnerability is still us, human trust. Every single tactic you mentioned, urgency, fake links, impersonation, it's all designed to bypass our rational brain and exploit, our desire to help or our fear of losing something. So we've covered the theory, but let's get into some concrete examples. What are some of the really impactful spoofing attacks that have actually happened?
Oh, the impact has been massive, affecting individuals, sure, but also major corporations, even hitting at a strategic government level. In email spoofing, a really sophisticated one was the Creelan Bank attack back in 2016. Cybercriminals impersonated top executives, tricked staff into making unauthorized transfers, ended up costing the bank $70 million, sent to fraudulent offshore accounts.
70 million euros.
Yeah. Huge sum. More recently, the Booking.com phishing campaign in 2023. Attackers got into hotel systems, stole guest credit card details, then use that info to send super targeted phishing emails to the customers, pretending to be the hotel or Booking.com. Very sneaky. And PayPal users get hit constantly. Campaigns mimicking PayPal's look and feel led to thousands of accounts being compromised, like back in December 2022. For DNS spoofing, there have been big ones too. In 2017, Brazilian banks had their DNS compromised. Redirected 36 different bank domains to fake websites for about 5 hours. Imagine the chaos.
Yeah, terrifying.
And in 2018, an AWS DNS spoofing attack rerouted traffic for several domains hosted on Amazon Web Services, including the crypto wallet service MyEtherWallet, resulted in $17 million worth of Ethereum being stolen.
$17 million.
Yeah. Then there's voice spoofing, or vishing. That UK energy firm CEO scam in 2019 is chilling. The CEO got a call from what sounded exactly like his German boss, who was an AI-generated voice. Convinced him to transfer $243,000. One of the first big examples of AI voice spoofing hitting a corporation like that really opened people's eyes.
AI voices, that's a whole new level.
It is. For IP spoofing, the GitHub DDoS attack in 2018 was massive. Peaked at 1.35 terabits per second of junk traffic. Used IP spoofing to amplify the attack, took GitHub down intermittently for nearly 20 minutes. Huge disruption for developers worldwide.
Right.
And GPS spoofing has had real-world physical consequences. Back in 2011, Iranian hackers reportedly used GPS spoofing to capture a U.S. drone, that RQ-170 Sentinel, redirected it right into Iran.
They captured a drone with it.
Allegedly? Yes. And in 2019, the Stena Impero oil tanker incident. A British tanker was supposedly hit with GPS spoofing, making it navigate into Iranian waters where it was then seized.
Wow. Okay, the range and scale of these attacks are just eye-opening.
Right.
From massive bank fraud to, like you said, hijacking military drones or commercial ships, it really drives home the real-world impact. We're not just talking about losing login details, it's major strategic and financial damage. Now, this all sounds pretty scary. Clearly, the stakes are incredibly high. But okay, what can we actually do about it? What are the red flags we should be really watching out for, and how can we actively protect ourselves?
Absolutely. Knowledge and practical steps are key here. Let's start with the red flags, the things that should immediately make you suspicious.
Yeah.
Be super wary of websites with URLs that look very similar but aren't quite identical to legit sites. Check carefully. If someone claiming to be from your bank or credit union asks you to call a number that isn't listed on their official website, huge red flag. Don't do it. Remember, a real financial institution will never ask you for your full login details or account numbers over the phone or by email. Never. And finally, if you see familiar company branding in a message, but it's asking you to do something urgent and unusual, like clicking a weird link or providing info you normally wouldn't stop and think, be extremely cautious.
Got it. So what about immediate, like, daily defenses, actionable advice?
Right, your everyday protection habits. First, make sure your email spam filters are turned on and actively mark suspicious emails as spam. Teach your filter. Keep your devices secure. Strongest security settings, apply updates and patches promptly, use robust security software.
The basics, but important.
Crucial basics, golden rule. Never click links or open attachments from sources you don't know or trust, or if a message seems suspicious. Just don't. Same goes for personal info. Don't share it online or over the phone with an unknown contact, no matter who they claim they are. If your bank contacts you asking for login info, don't respond, hang up, or delete the email. Then contact your bank yourself using their official website or the number on your card to see if there's a real issue. Don't automatically trust caller ID. If a call seems fishy, hang up and maybe search the number online. Often reveals if it's linked to scams.
Okay.
You could also look into apps like Hiya that try to filter known scam numbers.
Okay.
On your computer, a useful tip. In Windows, you can opt in to always display file extensions. Helps you spot if a file named, say, document.pdf is actually document.pdf.exe, an executable program, likely malware.
Ah, clever.
Yeah. And for deepfakes, look for tiny imperfections. Lip syncing might be slightly off, lip color unnatural, maybe weird facial hair or moles that aren't usually there. Those little glitches often give them away.
That's really helpful for everyday vigilance. So what about people who want or need even stronger protection? Maybe they've been targeted before or handle sensitive data. What are the more robust measures?
Good question. For more technical, robust protection, and yeah, especially if you've been a victim or are a high-value target, these methods are critical. Consulting the cybersecurity pro is often a good idea here too. For email authentication, organizations especially should implement protocols like SPF, DKIM, and DMRC. Think of them like digital watermarks and verification systems for email. They make it much harder for spoofed emails claiming to be from your domain to actually get delivered.
Okay, more for the sender side.
Primarily, yes, but receiving systems use them too. For network security, firewalls are essential. They act like guards, blocking unauthorized access. Intrusion detection systems, or IDS, monitor network traffic for suspicious patterns. And for ARP spoofing, that's more localized network stuff, specific detection software can spot it. Caller ID verification services for mobile carriers are getting better at identifying and blocking spoofed calls. Worth checking if your carrier offers something robust. Always verify websites, look for HTTPS, the SFTP made secure in the address bar, avoid clicking links in unsolicited emails, type the URL directly if you need to visit a site.
Right, type it in.
Yes. For DNS protection, using DNS-SEC adds digital signatures to DNS data, preventing tampering. DNS filtering can block access to known malicious sites. Keep DNS servers updated. IP protection involves things like ingress and egress filtering at network borders, basically checking if incoming and outgoing traffic has legitimate source IP addresses. Technologies like reverse path forwarding help verify this too.
More technical stuff.
Definitely more on the technical side,
Yeah.
but universally useful. Enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, or multi-factor authentication, MFA, wherever you possibly can. It's a huge extra layer of security. Even if they steal your password, they likely won't have your second factor, like a code from your phone.
Okay, 2FA is key.
Absolutely key. Keep all your software and operating systems updated. Those updates often patch security holes scammers exploit, and maybe the most important overall, user education and awareness. Just understanding these threats, knowing what to look for, helps everyone recognize and report suspicious activity. For businesses, having well-defined incident response plans is vital. Knowing what to do when an attack happens helps mitigate the damage quickly. So, with all that covered, what stands out to you personally as maybe the most surprising or the most useful tip for your own security?
That's a great question. You know, for me, it really comes back to those basic red flags, the slightly off URL, the generic greeting. It's easy to get caught up in the complex tech, but noticing those simple, subtle signs seems like our first and maybe best line of defense. It requires active attention. Which really brings us to the wrap-up here. We've certainly covered a lot of ground today, from understanding spoofing as fundamentally digital impersonation through its many, many forms, email, phone, website, even facial and GPS spoofing. We dug into the scammer's playbook, how they lean so heavily on social engineering, how they're constantly adapting, and those real-world examples really highlighted the serious consequences. But most importantly, we've hopefully armed you with clear red flags to watch for and actionable steps from basic awareness to more robust tech measures to help protect yourself. Being well informed, as you said, really is the first line of defense.
Absolutely. Knowledge, especially when it's understood and actually applied, truly is your strongest shield against these constantly evolving digital threats.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, something maybe to mull over beyond our discussion today. Given this constant adaptation by scammers, how might we, as individuals, cultivate a mindset that prepares us not just for the threats we know about now, but for the ones we haven't even encountered yet? How do we stay proactively vigilant?